Hello. Happy Friday. Just hang out for a moment, give folks the opportunity to jump on. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. All right. Let's see. Facebook in the lead right now. Hello. The downside with Facebook, I don't know, I'll have to play around with this a little bit, but I'm not able to see who's joining us there. I just see a count. Whereas with Instagram, I am actually able to see your screen names, your Instagram names. This is another Friday open Q&A session. My gosh, I'm not even certain how many of these we've done. I guess we started, I think the first one was maybe the last Friday of July, first Friday of August, September. So at least 8 weeks. And really just trying to be a source of support during these ongoing strikes. Abundance Bound now for 18 years, we have been providing financial education and guidance specifically for non-traditional earners. And obviously, many of us in the entertainment industry are that. We are non-traditional earners. We do not receive sort of a steady, guaranteed paycheck. We go project to project. But I'm also asked often, what other kinds of people are non-traditional earners? And so, actors, artists of all kinds, right? Fine artists, writers, certainly, but also gig economy workers, like people who work for companies where they essentially take on gigs. Now, it could be super short-term gigs like driving Uber, and also longer gigs. So you may be a contractor of some kind who comes in and does specialized work for a company for a week, for a couple of months. But yes, essentially a non-traditional earner, entrepreneurs also, right? Entrepreneurs of all kinds, freelancers. We are all non-traditional earners. Welcome, everybody. Okay. Let me pull up the Q&A here. So obviously, everyone who is here, please feel free, if you have a question, to type in a question. I now on Instagram and also on Facebook have sent my usual hi, so that you can feel free to type in the chat if there's anything that I can answer. So we were this week sent a small number of questions. I think it's maybe 4. So I will dive into the questions that we were sent. Sorry, let me just turn on the air. It is so hot here today. So I'm going to dive into the questions that we were sent. But please, if you have a question, if there's anything that I can help you with, anything at all money related. Monday, we did our last Riding the Storm webinar. We've been doing a series again since late July. Monday's topic was earnings, super popular topic. I know a lot of us are working on building additional streams of income. And so if you have any questions about that, some of the questions that we were sent were about that. So, okay, this first one came from Saul, and Saul asks, is it realistic to think of saving money when I am burdened with debt? So this is a question that we get a lot, and I don't necessarily answer this the way that other teachers do. I say yes, I think that it is absolutely essential to strike a balance. While you are focusing on paying off debt, it's also really important to set aside, it can be a tiny amount regularly for savings. Now, in our financial empowerment program, what we do is we really work with you to develop a personalized debt plan. Because here's the thing, everybody, right? There is no one size fits all when it comes to debt. We have to, the only way to set up a debt plan that has any chance of success, and I will say that over the years, we have literally supported hundreds of people in significantly paying down and paying off their debt. But the only chance of a debt plan being successful is if it is based on your numbers. Of course, we all want to pay off debt as quickly as possible. That's understandable. But the most important thing about paying off debt is consistency, and that requires us to establish a plan that again works with your numbers. But while you are executing that debt plan, we also will have you executing a wealth plan. And that wealth plan may start at $10, $15, $20 a month, but it's about working both sides of the coin at the same time. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Now, this was a really great mindset question. Janice shares that during a crisis, I feel paralyzed and I struggle to take action. How can I overcome this? And so, first of all, you're not alone, right? So it is absolutely natural to feel overwhelmed in a crisis. Like, there's real brain science that shows that when we are in crisis, we do one of a few things. We fight, we freeze, or we flight. We actually run away. And so, Janice, what you're speaking to is the freeze, the kind of spin cycle that is one of the things that we will call it, that has you just feeling totally unsure about which direction to go in. And so what I really encourage here is that you focus on small, manageable tasks, and that you actually really take the time to celebrate any achievements. Because what will happen is that by focusing on tiny, manageable tasks, you start to create momentum. Okay. And that gradually helps you to tackle larger challenges. But we have to start small. We have to be willing to start exactly where we are, right? And just don't blame yourself. The freezing thing that happens when we're overwhelmed, that happens to all of us. And just focusing on the teeniest step that you can take is what will help get you started. Okay, so here is our first entered question on Facebook. Mia, okay, so the idea of taming debt is great, but I'm worried about my credit score. Any advice? Absolutely. Okay, so first of all, I just really want to stress that our credit scores are not a sign of how good we are doing money. So when I was over $80,000 in credit card debt, I actually had a credit score that was over 700. So the reason I say that is because sometimes we really focus on that score instead of focusing on our actual financial health. And if we shift our focus to our actual financial health, I promise your score will follow. So when it comes to improving your credit score, there are a few things that are going to do that. The primary thing is paying all of your debts on time. So even, again, it can be just the minimum payment required, but it's making sure that you're always paying by those due dates. Okay, so that's really the first factor. The second largest factor in terms of your credit score is going to be your debt to available credit ratio. Okay, your debt to available credit ratio. So what does that mean, right? I hate all the fancy terminology when it comes to money. I want this to make sense. So let's say that you have a credit card that has $10,000 has a $10,000 credit limit. Okay, so whenever you get a credit card, they're going to give you a limit. So let's say that your card has a $10,000 limit. And let's say that you right now have a balance on your credit card of $5,000. That means that you are using 50% of your available credit. So when you hear debt to credit ratio, that's what that means, right? If you owed $4,000, you would be using 40% of your available credit. You will see, so Mia and everybody, you will see your credit score go up the highest. It will take the biggest jump when your usage of available credit drops below 30%. Okay, so when you are paying down debt, that is a marker that you want to focus on. You want to focus on getting that your usage under that 30% mark. Okay, so consistently paying off your debts and all your bills on time, right? That's a big thing, but also trying to keep your usage as low as possible. Now, everyone, whatever your debt is right now, your debt is. As you reduce your debt to available credit ratio, as you reduce that, you're going to see your score go up. And once you drop below 30%, so again, in the person who has a credit card with a $10,000 credit limit, when their balance drops below $3,000, that's when they're really going to see their credit score start to rise. Okay? So, Mia, hopefully that helps. And obviously, feel free to type in the chat if I can help clarify anything else with that. For anyone who has just joined us on Facebook, on Instagram, please feel free to pop any questions that you have at all in the chat. But that was a great question from Mia about your credit score. Okay, let's see here. Edgar, okay. I've started building an emergency fund. How much should I aim for? Okay, so this is another really common question that we get. And what I'm going to say is that I'm a real believer that a lot of this stuff that we get told out there is just kind of made up, right? How much should I aim for? Okay. Sorry, I just saw a question, Chanita. Will this be available to watch later? Yes, absolutely. These lives do get posted later. So if you can't stay, you'll be able to watch it later. Okay, sorry, Edgar. So here's the way that I approach it. The first thing is that you need to get as clear as possible about what is your monthly number. Now, what I mean by that is, what does your life cost you? Your personal life and any expenses tied to the business that you happen to be building, right? So if you're in the entertainment industry and you have a career as an actor, a writer, a director, what are the expenses tied to that role? If you're a freelancer or an entrepreneur of any kind. So for all of us as non-traditional earners, we need to be aware of what our cost of living is personally, as well as what are our costs and expenditures tied to our career, our non-traditional careers. Once you have clarity around that number, Edgar, the answer is that the more months that you have in savings, the more stability you'll have, right? So the reason that I think so many of us struggle with this question is because we hear out there, you should have 3 months in an emergency fund, 3 months of your living expenses, or you should never have less than 6 months in an emergency fund. And here's the thing, everyone. The absolute truth is that statistically in the United States, the average American has less than $600 in savings. So we can all agree that all of this information that's being thrown at us, you should have 3 months. Most people don't have that. So I feel like this is the kind of language that's out there without any clear direction as to how to actually make it happen. So Edgar, 1 month is absolutely better. 1 month of your living expenses is better than $600. 3 months of your living expenses is going to make you more stable than 1 month. 6 months is going to make you more stable than 3 months. But guys, it's not about picking this arbitrary number and then feeling shame and guilt that we're not there yet, or feeling terrified that we're not there yet. What a healthy relationship with money is about is it's about charting an actual followable, I don't know if that's a word, but an actual followable course from getting to wherever you are right now to 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. As a non-traditional earner, the simple truth is that the more we have in savings, the more stable we will feel. When you look at the months that we, for those of us who are in the entertainment industry, have been going through these strikes. Well, for someone who had 1 month of savings, you went through these last 5 months feeling a particular way. Someone who started the strikes with 6 months in savings went through the strikes feeling a particular way. And I think our job, what we want to be doing, particularly as non-traditional earners, is we just want to be working consistently to make ourselves stronger, working consistently to help ourselves ride the inevitable ups and downs of a non-traditional career. Okay. So let's see. Okay, here's a great question about earnings. And this comes from Matthew. What is the biggest misconception about, what is the biggest misconception about generating additional income? I think this is what you meant. Okay, what's the biggest misconception about generating additional income? Ooh, okay. So, Matthew, I think that there are a lot. I think there are a number of misconceptions. I think that, especially in a time where there are just so many shiny objects, I just think that there's a lot of, I don't know whether this would really qualify as misconceptions, but I would say untruths or half-truths that are delivered to us out there. I think people talk a lot about passive income. And of course, that's what we all want, right? We all want passive income, but I think there's a lot of misunderstanding around what it takes to actually create truly passive income. So I don't know whether that would qualify as a misconception, but I definitely feel like it's a place where there's a lack of full understanding. But I also, and I've spoken about this a lot, and I spoke about this a lot in the seminar on Monday, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, I really, really would recommend that you grab that from if you're on Instagram, you can grab that from our bio. That recording will be posted until the 16th. So you have about 10 more days to go ahead and grab that and watch it. But I feel that one of the biggest misconceptions is that we need a lot of systems in place to generate an additional stream of income. So that we need to have a fancy website, and we need to have a strong social media presence, and we need to have a big email list, and the list goes on, right? We need to know how to do social media advertising. And fundamentally, I believe that most successful streams of income actually start with what it is you know how to do and the offer you are actually making, right? It's taking some combination of your strengths and your skills and putting together an offer that meets a need, right? That helps people accomplish something that they actually want to accomplish, right? Or helps them to experience something they want to experience, or is a product, again, that people want and or need. And I think that in almost 100% of the time, a successful stream of income is going to start with you creating an offer and you actually making that offer to human beings, actually connecting with individuals and making offers, right? And then practicing delivering that service or that product and making sure that it is actually meeting a need and getting feedback from customers. I think, Matthew, that, one of the biggest misconceptions is really that we can skip that. And I think that there are a lot of fancy products and offerings and programs that make us think that we can kind of leap forward to making thousands of dollars a month without actually developing a strong offer. And again, practicing making that offer and delivering that offer and getting feedback and exchanging money for the delivery of whatever your product and service is. And so I think that that's what we should all be focusing on. We should be focusing on really developing our offer. What is it that you are going to do that will make a difference for people, right? And remember, it doesn't have to make a difference for everybody. It has to make a difference for a small number of people for your business to be a success, right? So what you want to do is you want to pick what is the thing that you are going to do that will help people, and then focus on actually helping people. As that grows, it will become clearer and clearer what bells and whistles, if any, are actually necessary. Okay, so looking here, and I'm just keeping an eye to see whether we've gotten in any new ones. This is the last one that we were sent. So I'll share this question and my thoughts on this question. And again, for everyone who's joining us live, please feel free in these final minutes to put a question in the chat if there's anything that you'd love for me to help you with today. So this one comes from Ashira. I love that name. How do I identify which of my skills can be monetized? So I think what I would suggest always is I would suggest start by making a list of the skills, right? Make a list of your skills, your experiences. And when looking at skills, really dig deep, right? There can be hard skills, which are I am an expert with Excel, or I'm an expert at this type of software, or what else? I am a really strong editor or proofreader, right? Those are what I would call hard skills. And then there are softer skills, like equally important and valuable, right? I am extremely organized, or I'm very, I have a strong ability to connect with people. I am good at charting a path, helping people organize themselves in terms of getting something done, right? All of these kinds of hard and softer skills, also your strengths, you want to just get them down. And the reason I say this, Ashira and everyone, is because when we say, all right, which of my skills can be monetized, what ends up happening is we rule stuff out automatically. Like we're like, oh, I can do that, but no, I could never make money from that. No, I could never make money from that, right? And that actually may not be true. So what I would really focus on is getting all of your skills down. If possible, brainstorm with people who know you well, right? Because they may share skills that you honestly do it so naturally, you don't even think of it as a skill. Like that happens all the time where I'm with a close friend who they have no idea that the way that they do something, I think is like incredible because I find that thing so difficult. So I would definitely suggest brainstorming with a friend or some friends if possible. And then I think what you want to do is just consider the demands of the market. One of the things that I said in our webinar on Monday is a great question to start asking people is, if money were no object, what problems or challenges do you have right now that you would love to pay someone to help you with? right? Like, really, really great question. Like, I would actually love for someone to ask me that question because I think it would be so interesting for me to make a list of all of the things that I would love to have someone help me with if money were absolutely no object. Like, what are the things that I find challenging or time consuming that someone else, based on their skills, might actually find really interesting and be able to do far more efficiently than I could? And asking people, not one person, not two people, but really asking 5, 10 people can help you start to generate a list of the kinds of needs that are out there and seeing how your skills might line up with some of those needs. And another resource that I just really want to share with you is Chris Guillebeau's Side Hustle School. Okay, so just Google Chris Guillebeau, or because I'm not going to spell his name now, but just Google Side Hustle School podcast. And you will find a podcast that I believe now has been running for like 5 years. And it is incredible. Like, he has interviewed thousands of people over the 5 years who have created profitable side hustles, and side hustles genuinely, in that all of these people had full-time careers when they started whatever their ultimate side hustle was. And the reason why I recommend just listening to those episodes is because it will help you start to see how many incredible ideas there are out there that may never have come to mind at all. So that is also a way that you can start to connect, like really brainstorm what your skills are and how your skills might meet needs in the market. Because I'm telling you, everybody, if you go listen to just 10 episodes of Side Hustle School, you will hear about ideas that will blow your mind. Like, you'll be like, wow, I don't have any idea how that person thought of that thing that is now making them hundreds, or in some cases, thousands of extra dollars every month. Okay, so Ashira, that would be a great way to get started, to start brainstorming, and to start really connecting your skills with a need in the market. All right, so I hope that's helpful. All right, everybody. So it is 3:30. Those were all of the questions that we were sent in advance, as well as a couple of questions that came in live here today. So if no one has anything else, we will wrap it up for this Friday, October 6th. Everybody okay? Let me check Facebook. Sorry, guys. I sometimes forget to check there. Okay. Yep. Yes, we answered that one. Perfect. All right, everyone. Then I will be back next week, Friday. Again, feel free to send in your questions. You can either DM them to us, or you can email us at info@abundancebound.com. Please be sure to grab the recording of our earnings webinar that we did on Monday if you haven't seen that. And I will hope to see you all back here next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.